Hi, welcome to Taste the Florida Tropics. I'm Sonia Vaquero. Thanks for joining us again here at Taste the Florida Tropics, where we're talking about a lot of Florida tropical fruits. And today we have two wonderful guests. It's a happy love and business relationship here. It's Don and Katie Chafin from Going Bananas. Hi, Don. Hi, Katie. How are you?
Great. Thank you for inviting
us. Thank you for coming. I'm so excited to have you guys here. You have Going Bananas, a wonderful little paradise here in the Homestead area. And I invited you guys over to come in and talk to us and little information to our viewers who don't know about your wonderful organization and paradise here that you have. And Going Bananas, I guess that means you guys are going bananas, and as you can see, we have all types of bananas here, and we're going to be talking a little bit about these in a little bit. But first of all, I want to talk about you guys. You are married, and this is your business, Going Bananas. How long have you guys been in business and doing this?
We've been doing this for about 17 years now. We initially bought the property, and it was a tomato field, and we wanted to plant something different than avocados and mangoes and limes, so we started taking some classes, joined the Rare Fruit Council, and we fell in love with many of the different tropical fruits, primarily bananas and lychee. So we, 17 years ago, planted a lychee grove.
One of my favorites.
And about 11 years ago, we interplanted with 90 different varieties of bananas.
Oh my God, who would think there's 90 different types of bananas?
Well, it's one of the largest cultivar collections, if not in the world, in the United States. So someone looking for a particular cultivar,
you have it.
Almost would always have it for sure, yes.
Now, I know you guys have a wonderful website, goingbananas.com, where there's so much information, and you get a lot of little bits and pieces and nice little pictures of your grove, and you'll also see a nice little quick shot of how you enter Going Bananas, you know, the type of ambiance and atmosphere you're going to be witnessing when you do go visit this wonderful place. So Katie, what is your position, and what is it that you do, or who handles what here?
Well, our roles are pretty diversified. Don pretty much manages everything out in the field, operations, and I take over whatever is left, which is a little bit of everything from answering the phones to making sure bills get paid and
filling these orders.
Right.
Yeah.
But we both fill the orders. We have both internet orders, and we have a lot of walk-in business, and we ship to just about all over the world. We've had clients that have requested bananas and tried to grow them in very unusual places like Alaska and a lot of European countries where it's cool, want bananas because they're tropical and beautiful, and they want to at least try. And it is a lot of fun to grow them because they're not only a good-looking plant, they happen to be something that, you know, provides you a fruit that you can usually, most people can fruit them in almost any place in the world if they have the right conditions, but they just have to make the conditions more tropical for it to come to fruition.
So here in Florida, we have the perfect conditions for this. I mean, are these fruits grown all over the U.S., or would you say?
Fruits, no. Plants, yes.
I mean, the plants.
The plants will grow very well. It's very difficult when you don't have consistent warm temperatures like we have to get them to fruit, but they're still a beautiful tropical plant, and people enjoy that. So just knowing you have a banana close to you or something tropical, sometimes when you've got wintry, cold icicles hanging outside your windows, is kind of comforting and warm.
Exactly, I know. And then you also do the lychees, but I did visit your grove, and Don and I did take a nice little tour of all the wonderful and exotic type fruits that, I mean, it's not just bananas and lychees. You guys have like a little a sample of all the types of tropicals here, very similar to the fruit and spice part.
Exactly, and just to mention a few, we've got mamey sapote, we've got white sapote, we've got you were talking before, Monastera Deliciosa.
You have that.
Mango.
Mangoes.
Jaboticaba.
Yeah, it's very great. All these great fruits, and being able to go around and not just, you know, focus on all the different types of bananas that this would take you I mean, this is a fool's day right here, but if you also want to take a look over here and you have all these other things. So it's a great little, you know, place to go and get an idea of what all these different tropical fruits are like. Now, I am so happy that you brought us all these bananas, and this is all from your grove. And like you said, there's close to 90, or?
We have 90 different varieties of bananas. We have our smallest plant is called the super dwarf Cavendish. It only grows 3 to 4 feet tall. Then we go 5 feet, 8 feet, 12 feet, all the way up to the giant Saba that can grow 25 to 30 feet tall. In addition to the different heights, we also have the different flavors. We have small finger bananas that may only be 4 to 5 inches, and then we have the giant plantains as well. So we've got those that you can eat out of hand. We've got the plantains that are always curved, and then we have in between that a combination banana called cooking banana, and you can eat it out of hand, or you may treat it as a plantain. In addition to those 3 categories, we also have seeded varieties and ornamentals, exactly.
Ornamentals, where that's just for?
Well, the ornamental grows straight up, and it has a beautiful flower, and we have 5 or 6 different colors, and they have little small wannabe bananas that never develop unless they're pollinated.
Oh.
So we have quite a diversity, not only in taste and size, but just about anything one would want for their backyard.
And we do a lot of tours for people who come down, particularly in the winter months. We find that they really can't purchase bananas or to take back with them, but they come, they sample a lot of fruit, they get a lot of education, because it's an opportunity for us to expand the knowledge and the information on tropical fruits. Most people living outside of the area are not familiar with most of these because you don't find them in your market, and we would like to see more of them. For instance, the lychees are mostly an Asian product, and so they're very familiar with them. And then some of the Caribbean is familiar with them because they grow things like rambutan, which is very similar. But when you get an opportunity to sample these first fresh right off of the vine, or even we keep them frozen for the winter months for the people who come down who say, you know, I've heard about these lychee, what are they? And you get a chance to handle them and taste them, and they're really excellent. So they go back and tell their friends and neighbors a little bit about tropical fruits, and it's a slow manner of expanding the knowledge base of tropical fruits, but it is one of the ways of introducing some of these things. But mostly people have no idea that there's anything other than a Chiquita banana, so they're just amazed at the different textures, as Don was talking about, and the different sizes and shapes of bananas.
I know. I've also tasted the, I did see in my local supermarket here, the small one, the little
ladyfinger or
how would
Mysore's, or
probably.
Oftentimes, I think they have the apple banana, the manzana.
The manzana, and they're very, very sweet as well.
Yes.
And I was very surprised. I said, "Oh my God, look, they got a different variety here," which is.
Well, we're very cautious with some of those varieties because the manzana's been around for a very long time, and most of the Latin community is familiar with us because they've been around for 30, 40 years. The problem is this particular variety is very susceptible to a Panama disease, a root fungus that creates a lot of problems, but we have so many other ladyfingers, which are small, sweet little bananas like that, that are resistant to the disease, that we like to introduce that to people, and so that if they have problems with the manzano, they're not limited now into what they can grow because they're familiar with that. They always say, oh, my mother had these, or my grandmother had these, and now you can try some others, and a lot of times when you take them to Grandma and she tastes them, she really can't tell the difference because they're sweet and very small, very much like those. So we just call them mostly ladyfingers.
Okay.
The very small ones.
Okay. And these type of fruits, the bananas, I mean, how long, what type of season does this have, or how long before you plant a tree that you're going to see some of your fruits? I mean, give us some information for somebody who's interested in maybe going to your property, purchasing a tree, putting one in their backyard to have this nice tropical, oasis in their house.
The banana plant is a monocot, meaning it grows up, bears fruit, and dies. And here in South Florida, it does all of that within about 16 to 18 months.
Okay.
So it's not the time of year, it's basically the age of the plant. When you first put the plant in the ground, usually the indication of how old it is when you see the small plants start to come up. Usually within about 6 months, you'll see a few what we call daughters or suckers or ehos emerge.
On the
So
bottom,
at that
next
point,
to the
exactly,
the main.
they grow right out of the base of the mother plant,
Mm-hmm.
technically known as a rhizome. And then after that event, the flower starts at ground level and it starts its journey up the trunk. And after the banana plant has put out all of its leaves, usually at about a year of age,
Mm-hmm.
then a short leaf comes out, and right after the short leaf, the flower emerges, and then it continues and it gets heavier and heavier
And then it's just
heavier.
going to flop all the way down. That's so
Exactly.
interesting. Don, we're going to come right back. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. You, please stay tuned. You're watching Taste the Florida Tropics. I'm Sonia Vaquero. We're going to come right back. Thank you.
Hey, kid, what's shaking? Besides me.
Dad, there's something wrong with the fridge.
What?
Ooh, a snack.
Got energy hogs in your house? Now you have the power to do something about them. Log on to energyhog.org. Because nobody likes an energy hog.
Hey, they got Charlie. Eh, who cares?
Now there's a drug available all across America.
Ecstasy changed my life.
Ecstasy is not for everyone. In fact, it's not for anyone. New studies show that ecstasy is toxic to the body. Side effects may include depression, severe anxiety, hypertension, heat stroke, seizures, heart attacks, liver damage, kidney or cardiovascular system failure, worried parents, loss of friends, isolation, emptiness.
Ecstasy changed my whole life.
Ask your doctor and see why ecstasy isn't right for you.
Hi, welcome back to Taste of Florida Tropics. My name is Sonia Vaquero, and today we are going bananas with Don and Katie Chafin here in the Homestead Redland area. And this is a beautiful grove, Going Bananas, that is open Monday through Saturday, right, 9 to 5. Go by and check it out, and you're going to see some of these wonderful fruits here. And Don and Katie were so nice to bring us a little piece of all these different types of bananas. And I want you to please explain to us some of the different varieties that we have here present today.
Well, in the foreground on the left, on my
This one,
left, is the Goldfinger. The Goldfinger grows about 12 feet tall. It normally has a bunch that's about 65 pounds.
Wow.
And it's one of the hardier growing bananas that someone may want to grow in their backyard.
Okay, Katie, I don't want you lifting that, okay? That's too much.
And then
No,
the other
they do
one,
the hard work.
Don does the lifting.
and the other variety
Over
is
here.
Namwa, and also known as the Thai banana.
A Thai.
And it's 3 to 4 inches long, very, very sweet. So we would have the regular Chiquita flavor at 12 feet, and then we would have the Namwa, which is much sweeter, grows about 8 feet. And oftentimes people ask us for the Monsanto banana, and this is the one that we think comes closest to that apple flavor that many people are looking for. So those are two excellent choices for someone wanting a banana plant for their backyard.
Okay, and it grows nicely and has those beautiful leaves and everything else, so you're still gonna get that. I know that there's one that has like a darker side to one side of the leaf, and the other one which is very
Well, there's
beautiful.
several really
Yeah.
that do that, but some of the more ornamental ones, we have one that's called an Inseti Morillii, which is not really a true banana because it doesn't give fruit. And the underside of the leaf is a dark burgundy color, and the top of the leaf is nice and green, so when it waves in the wind, it's really
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Very nice.
And then there's Red Eye Helena, which is an edible a good one to dehydrate, as a matter of fact, that has the red underleaf and the top side, and the bananas are sort of red as well.
Oh.
And then there's a banana called the red. Cubans call it Cuban red. In Hawaii, they call it the Hawaiian red. Jamaicans call it Jamaican red.
Yeah, it depends where you're from.
We dropped all of that, and we just call it the red, so
The
we're
red.
politically correct, which produces a wonderful, very sweet ladyfinger type banana, but it's a little slower growing, but we tell everyone it's worth the wait because they're so very sweet and very strong. So you get lots of color for landscape as well as the wonderful taste of some of these different varieties.
And when you have all these bananas, I mean, you don't have to eat them all at one time. I mean, these are great to freeze. They're very easy. I mean, do you freeze them? You just peel them and put them in little Ziploc baggies and freeze them, or how would you handle that?
When we have an overabundance of fruit, that's exactly what we do. We peel them, put them in a plastic bag, suck out the air, and freeze them.
And they're going to be just as delicious as...
Exactly, and Katie likes to put them in the food processor with a little bit of orange juice to liquefy it, and sometimes whatever tropical fruit we have on hand, we'll use that. One that she particularly enjoys adding is Canistel. Gives it a very interesting flavor.
Yeah, that is a delicious...
And you can mash them in like 1 cup increments. So when you're ready to make banana pancakes or banana anything, you've already got it measured and they're ready. You just pop it out of the freezer and you can use it. Or you can peel them and freeze them whole, put them in a blender when you're making smoothies, and it's the basis for all your smoothies. And so nutritious.
Very nutritious. And we did have an opportunity to get some wonderful information for some of you viewers who want to know how to plant some of these wonderful fruits. Why don't we take a quick look at that at your grove on how to replant.
Okay, this is a Goldfinger, and we just now have brought this in from the field. We just now dug it up. We severed the relationship from the mother plant. And we start the cleaning process by just rinsing off the roots, trying to get most of the soil off, and just some water, clear water, nothing's added. And the first thing we do is start removing the roots. And the reason we're doing this is once bananas grow or in the ground in the same location for a couple of years, they seem to have a tendency to attract microscopic insects. The one that we consider our biggest challenge is the microscopic worm called the nematode. Nematodes just love bananas, and it takes 2 or 3 years until you get an infestation of nematodes in your banana patch. So what we try to do here is by cutting off the roots and removing the soil, less likelihood of you introducing nematodes into your garden right off the bat. The nematodes will search you out and find you sooner or later, but this is a good horticulture practice to get into. We dip it in more fresh water. This has a little bit of bleach and a little bit of soap, as you can see by the suds. I take this stiff brush and I'm basically just removing the soil. You can see we've already got the majority of the roots. There's a little bit of root base left. But by doing this, we're getting rid of most of the problems that may affect us, particularly early on. Scrub them real good, rinse it, and take it back over to the cleaning table. And we'll whittle down a little bit of the skin as well as these stubs of roots, and we'll clean it up, and we'll have some nice clean material. If you were bringing a plant in from another country, this is what's required in addition to a phytosanitary inspection from the Department of Plant Industry. And so we whittle it down. It starts getting a little bit of white, and this doesn't hurt it at all. This is actually called a corm, or a sucker is the nickname that I have in my hand here. After we whittle it, then we take the back of the knife and we take a little bit of this surface fungus. We'll whittle off that and get a nice white clean color, and we know that we just got good clean tissue here. I think that looks pretty good. Sometimes you'll see little tunnels where the the banana beetle will have laid eggs at the base of the plant, and some of the larvae start to tunnel into the plant. In this particular variety, the Goldfinger, there's no indication of the banana beetle having been here. Looks like a real nice, clean specimen. Then the next step is to take the corm and we'll dip it into a mild fungicide. And you want to try to keep it just on the base of the plant so you don't get it on your fingers. Normally, if it sits in this fungicide for about a minute, that's just fine. And then we'll take it out of there, we'll let it drip for a moment. And then the next procedure is we lay it on the table and we're spraying the leaf structures, if it has leaves, with another fungicide, and it's called Abound. And we're doing this because we're required to by Department of Plant Industry to prevent the spread of Sigatoka. Then we'll let that dry out, and then we'll lay it out in the sunshine on a table for about 2 hours and let the ultraviolet rays clean up the plant and dry it out a little bit better, and then it's ready to go in the ground. And I think that concludes our...
That was great information. Thank you, Don. That is information that is very important. And Katie, tell us why this is so important.
Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, a lot of folks want to share their banana plants with their neighbors and their relatives, and when they pull up a corm and just take it to them and there's soil on the root, you're also passing along a lot of the pathogens and fungus and Panama disease and the problems that you can have with bananas. This short, quick, very simple way of preparing the corm protects the consumer or the people who are going to plant them by cleaning out all of this off and allowing you to plant the cleanest material you possibly can.
A nice, healthy, and have a nice, healthy tree.
Exactly.
Nice, good fruit, and avoid all those
exactly.
all those
it can be
issues,
prevented
yeah.
is the whole thing, and most of the problems we have now with Panama disease was caused by just this, not taking those few precautions that you can take to prevent it.
And they keep passing it on and we spread and we have a terrible problem. It's not what we want. And thank you, Don. It looked like you were out there getting all dirty doing all that. So it's very important to wear your
banana clothes.
Banana clothes, because you're going to get that sap, and I hear that's very difficult to get off. So
cannot,
impossible.
does not come out.
Okay, so wear the ugliest T-shirt you have out there when you're doing something like this. So at Going Bananas, so many things has happened at this on your grove. A lot of commercials and a lot of fun stuff. I mean, what can you tell us? Something that has happened really exciting at your grove that you want to share with us today?
Well, one of the things, we had a Martha Stewart segment that came in and wanted to know a little bit about tropicals, and they thought, well, bananas is something that almost everyone knows and understands, but no one doesn't, most people don't understand that they can be grown in the United States, and some of the fun things that you can do with them. So yeah, we had the taping of a Martha Stewart segment. We've had a few commercials done on our property as well, which has been fun and exciting for all of us, and some of our friends and neighbors come by and check it out, you know,
you're
because
big
it's
time.
exciting.
This is great.
Actually, we had a photographer from National Geographic. He spent the entire day. He honed his camera in on one of the flowering bananas, and he got morning, midday, and evening sunlight. And
you're on National Geographic.
How about that?
You can't beat
Our
that.
bananas are, we aren't.
No, and that is a beautiful flower. I mean, these bananas, they come from a gorgeous flower that you were explaining that kind of hangs over, and then at that point, it starts opening.
actually, on the ornament.